Chicken. Straight chicken. Nothing funny in it. No bits, no mess, no shirt, no sleeves, no sale. Today I'd like to talk about writing. I'm currently writing my game, Project Glint, which is going to be quite a big game. And getting the... I'm writing characters at the moment, but planning ahead a lot is something you really have to do. Like, I know where everything's going. Like, that's important now. I want to talk about writing in games, because games seem to be written a lot like TV, and they really should be written a lot like movies. Like, TV and movies are written differently. Like, a movie is self-contained. You watch a movie, you then leave the place where you watch the movie. That's like how movies are designed to be watched. They're something that you watch and you leave on a high. That was great. But TV is very much, when it ends, you have to still be wanting to watch the next bit. That's why a lot, especially American TV, has like an advert and then you go back for like a minute to the TV show and then the next one immediately starts. They just want you to keep watching. So TV never really ends on the high. It ends on sort of, it's like, whoa, whoa, and then sort of down here. I mean, not on the like climax scale or whatever. That's, everything does that. They're like, whoa, the thing, and then conclusion. But TV sort of dip even further than that. And they're very, like, because TV is, because you've got to keep watching. Like, even it's the next episode if you're watching a box set, or if you just want to watch the next things that are coming on and on. Because TV network people want you to keep watching TV. Because otherwise you're not watching TV. Like, TV is continuous. So, like, a lot of games at the moment, like, especially something like Call of Duty, are broken down into missions and structured those missions like they were an episode. So, a game plays out quite a lot like just watching a box set of a TV show, and I think a game should play out a lot more like it's a movie. I think, even though you do have to sort of, because they break everything down, so instead of having like Act 1, 2, 3, it's like Act 1, subgenre A, B, C, and then 2, A, B, C. I think they should sort of stretch things out a little more, sort of take more time on Act 1, take more time on Act 2, and then Act 3, instead of going like, we have 20 acts, and none of it really ties in. I think that's something that's really missing from game storytelling. I think that's what's kind of fundamentally broken about game storytelling as well, is that it should stretch itself a bit more. Because games are written, there's nothing else that's written like games. I remember to actually drink this time. Games are very different. Like, you can tell a lot through the actual gameplay. Even though like a lot of, again, AAA stuff, they don't tell any real story through the gameplay. They just have like the stuff that happens and then the cutscenes tell all the story. Whereas, I really swallow my own tongue. When you get good stuff, like Papers, Please and things like that actually tell the story through the game, that's so much more, that's like the thing games do. That's the difference. But I think the overall rank structure needs to sort of stay the same, because it just, I don't know how to write a video game. This is the thing. I've worked out all my main characters have arcs. I've worked out all their arcs. I know who they are at the start, who they are at the end, what happens to get them there. I know all of this stuff. And then, but like, tying that all together, like, because it's either going to be really long arcs or lots of really long things that happen, or lots of little things that happen. Like little things, but really long acts or lots of little acts. And I'm really not entirely sure. Like, I think it should be the elongated stuff. So you have big thing, like big overarching thing here, big overarching thing here, big overarching thing here, with little stuff happening, because you always have your sort of sub-stories and stuff. But I look at every other game and there's sort of like, lots of stuff happening, and I get so very confused. That's really all I have to say. It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle of how you're supposed to write stuff. I think, especially the structure of the game that I'm making works better for the elongated one. Whereas you have because of the way I've built the game, it has 3 very distinct arcs, very distinct acts. Like, it has literal breaks in between them, because of stuff that happens. So I know that it would work better in that thing, but then I look at other stuff, I'm like, well, why are you doing it like that? These are the professional things. But then I think, oh, they're not very good at telling stories. Like, Spec Ops told a great story, but that was very much a 3-act story. That was an elongated 3-act, not a lots of little things happening, because you were just constantly moving through. You weren't like, hang on. Gotta keep the theme going. So something like Call of Duty, you're here, and then you're over in Alaska, and then you're like over in Bulaska, and then Dulaska. Oh, I fucked my finger up, if you're wondering. I ripped the nail off by typing. I went type, and my nail kind of went beep, beep, beep. Very painful. I can't actually type at the moment. But I can type. I can do the guy who wrote Only Fools and Horses was like a 2-finger typer. He would type like that, and he was like really fast here. John Sullivan. I remember that being a thing. What was I saying? Something about something. Yeah, no, because, right, so yeah, in Call of Duty, you fly off to millions of different locations and it breaks the story out. Whereas something like Spec Ops, you're constantly pushing through this one big story. Like, you never jump around. You're never in Dubai, and then Flubai, and then Mumbai, that would have been one. I don't know why. Everything has to rhyme in war games. I don't know why. So, Spec Ops seems to be that 3-act structure, and then the multiple 3-act structure seems to be something that Call of Duty does, because it flies around the planet, and it's so hard to break games down into any act, but I think that's how it's going, and it's like, because it's really uncharted territory with video game writing, because a lot of it, you're like, even my favourite game is like, what was the story? I have no fucking clue. What was Just Cause 3's story? Dictator or something? Bolo Santosi? That's literally all I remember. Because a lot of time you don't spend in the story. And story-focused games, I mean, because look, Telltale have always been said that, oh, they're the best at telling stories. What do they do? Well, they're clearly episodic structure. They're just using the TV format. But they're so different from everything else because they are literally episodic. And they're telling the best stories. So maybe the best way to tell a story in a game is separating it into episodes, like, say, Half-Life, and then telling little stories. Maybe that works better, and then when you mush it together, it feels a bit weird. It's like watching a box set. Like, if you watch an individual thing every week, it's kind of exciting and fun. And if you watch a box set, it's just not as good, you know? It's more sort of like... It's more moreish than delicious. Does that make sense? I think that makes slightly sense. You have, like, the delicious side of storytelling. You're like, ooh, that was good. I can't wait for the next M&M. Or you could just sit there and eat a million M&Ms, you know? And that's fine, because that's a different way of experiencing M&Ms. But is it as good? Like, it's very different things. So I think I'm going to go for the big 3-act structure. I think that fits better instead of the TV, like lots of little things happening all the time. I mean, lots of things will be happening, but instead of arcing around those and acting around those, and I've confused the word arc and act, and this was probably completely nonsensical. But it's true. I'm going to go now. Writing characters is fun, actually. I've been spending a lot of time writing the characters, because I want every major character to have an arc. That's like really important. I want them to grow as people, and I plan that out before I plan out like the main character stuff. Because then when the main character does stuff, I'm like, oh, actually that clicks there. Like this game has changed so much. Like whenever I'm writing, like because we're in the planning stage forever on this game. Whenever I write stuff, it changes so much. Like the main driving thrust of this game and what this game was 2 months ago is now completely removed from the game because everything I built around it works so much better without it. You know, it's like here's some other cool ideas. Like, well, actually these other ideas work really good over here. This is actually useless now. And that's writing. Throw stuff away. That's my tip to writers today. Throw stuff away. And I don't know how to write video game stories, but I'm going to give it a go because I think they're doing it slightly wrong. Maybe, I don't know. Fuck it. Goodbye.